So, how was it staying with us for a month?
It was awesome. I didn't really know what to expect when I came here. I just showed up, and it definitely exceeded my expectations. In the sense that, especially in the healing, I just went way deeper than I went before with other plant medicines. So that was the main surprise for me. Yeah. Other than that, the food is amazing. But yeah.
So, let's talk about your background a little bit. And, what did you do? What do you do? And then how you came to plant medicine and why? And the steps that led you here.
So I do Chinese medicine and acupuncture. I also teach acupuncture at a local college. And recently this year, actually, I started co-hosting some plant medicine retreats with Erin, my partner. So my work is basically in healing, okay? And in terms of my own healing and how I was introduced to plant medicine, I had my first experience maybe 4 years ago with ayahuasca in Costa Rica. That was my very first experience with psychedelics, and it was the best experience ever. Okay, so after that I became a little more curious, but I still didn't know, in Canada it's kind of underground to find really good plant medicine facilitators, so I didn't know where to find them. And then I met Aaron at an Iboga retreat, so he introduced me to a lot more, including Huachuma, right? So before I came to see you, I only had a few experiences with microdosing Huachuma. Definitely not as deep as your medicine. Here, obviously, we're not doing microdoses, so although it's macrodose for sure. Although with you, I only have maximum half a cup and things like that. It's still a whole different level of healing, and I found that the main thing with Huachuma here is that it was able to pop the bottle of all the repressed emotions that I had since childhood, all that trauma that obviously we avoid as long as we can until plant medicine just, sits with you and offers you the opportunity to sit with what you need to heal. So that's what happened for me, and that was my favorite part, because that's why I came here. I felt like I needed a little extra push or some help just to face some things that I want to process. And, it's kind of hard whenever you're so heady and so in your mind. It's hard to be honest with yourself sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why we're trying to fix it. Self-honesty brings healing. But to do that, you have to be courageous to face yourself. That's where the courage comes. To be able to face yourself and sit with everything, process everything.
You gotta feel it to heal it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you can avoid that, the path of healing. If you want to avoid that, then you avoid the healing. So that's a hard part of the process, but there is sweetness in that too. It's hard to explain, but it's not all horribly terrible at all.
No.
It's just
once you get past the mechanisms that are, separating you from these aspects of yourself, it's actually very enjoyable. Even when it's challenging, I find with Huachuma the cool thing is that even when it's challenging, it's just challenging enough to push your limits, but not
to break
go too far. Exactly. So it's still comfortable in that sense. To do the healing, but without, extreme experiences or anything like that. So I love that.
It's gentle, profoundly gentle.
And yet very powerful.
Embrace me, yes. It's very powerful. Just gentle spirit, it doesn't want to break you, just want to help you. Just want to help you to figure things out.
Yeah.
So how was it for you in the beginning, and how that changed over the course of a month?
Over my stay. So the first 2 weeks were more challenging, obviously, because I had like a shell around my heart. So we had to like work through these layers, and obviously that can feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Massage therapist.
Oh, awesome.
I'm next, but after.
That's good.
So
yeah, it was a little more uncomfortable in the beginning simply because we were working through some heavier stuff that was basically separating me from my emotions. Okay, so it was that disconnection that had to be reconnected. And obviously,
you're disconnected from your pain. That's how it is.
Exactly.
You disconnect from it so you don't feel the pain.
The pain, but also, disconnecting from certain emotions also disconnects you from other emotions
From
in
everything.
a more positive way. And the first thing you told me in the very first ceremony was you have to learn to enjoy things. Because I was literally disconnected from enjoyment of life.
Yeah.
So even when I was, in enjoyable situations, it's like there was a wall between me and the experience. Because I just put a wall between me and emotions, period.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the life without emotions. What was that kind of life?
Yeah, it's just a life of fear of being hurt and of suffering. The way that I grew up was really around, like the way that my parents...
Aaron, would you help them, please?
The way that my parents...
This massage table will break my wife there. Yeah. Cool. Good to have. Good to have somebody around with muscles to carry stuff around.
No kidding. Oh, he's taking it up the stairs too. Alright.
And then to my room.
Nice.
So what's that? What were we talking about?
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, the way that I was raised, it was really around fear of suffering, okay? So if you don't do certain things, your life is going to be pure hell. So that was basically the concept of, like, growing up in fear of making mistakes. And then, obviously, like, since the thought of suffering is there, I would manifest suffering in my life. Okay, so whenever I'd have an enjoyable situation, sometimes people in my family would be like, brace yourself, because everything has a price. So if you just had a good time in your life, you're about to have a shitty one. So that was just like the point of view that was ruling my life.
That's just so wrong.
Of course it is, yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, for sure. But when it's been drilled in your head, it's like...
Yeah, then you're afraid of having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like
Huachuma...
Huachuma...
enjoy,
Yeah, and Huachuma really, like, in the first week, it just brought me back into being able to experience joy, pleasure, love, like, just...
And without fear.
Without fear.
Without fear of having a price to pay for this later.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it as it is and enjoy it again.
Yeah.
Like children enjoying life every day.
And also believing that life is meant to be enjoyable and not just like a life of suffering to grow spiritually. You know what I mean?
Imagine how traumatic it would be to tell to a child, if you enjoy today, tomorrow you'll be crying all day. It's like, it would be so horrible. The child would be totally traumatized.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I better don't enjoy it so I don't cry tomorrow.
Exactly.
You know?
So you kind of want to stay in the gray zone instead of having like black and white.
But
in terms
that's
of emotions.
the gray zone is the dead zone. That's the whole thing. There is no light there. You know, I know personally people who wanted to kill themselves because of that. Literally. You know? Let me take it up. You know? It's like literally one girl, she just lost the whole taste for life. Completely. And she just scheduled her suicide.
Yeah.
And the good thing, she just came here before killing herself, and that changed her life. Everything was fine.
Good.
You know? But that's exactly what it is. It's just like you completely disconnect from emotion, from the whole emotions. You disconnect from a particular one, but that kind of disconnects you from
spectrum.
Everything.
Yeah.
So pain, but also love and joy and everything that good comes with your emotions. It's all gone.
Yeah.
So She just became a robot, just senseless, senseless person. Just who eventually she lost a taste for food.
Oh, wow.
You know, it just from emotion it went to her physiology, so she wasn't tasting food anymore. You know, think about it. It's like total disconnect, total shutdown of everything that makes you human, basically. You know.
Yeah, because on an emotional level we can disconnect ourselves, but over time, if that
numbness
disconnection
grows.
Yeah, and it becomes totally physical and solidified in the body and the cells themselves.
That's it, and life becomes just a drudgery, you know, just a living hell. It doesn't matter what you do, it's that if you don't have joy in your life, then your life is hell.
It is,
It's
and you
just-
attract
that's
just
it.
more of these events to confirm your beliefs, right?
Yeah,
So more events.
reinforcing your reality, you know, which isn't even real, which is made up stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So Huachuma help you with removing that shell around your heart, kind of melting the ice,
Yeah.
and start feeling.
Yes.
Start feeling.
Yeah, and obviously, like, I went through a lot of processing during the ceremonies, right? Like, processing of events in my life that created that disconnection from myself. So that also helped me to integrate that healing in the sense that, like, now I see the root of why I am this way, and I don't agree with how it was basically drilled in my mind. So now I can just easily disconnect from it and build a new
disregard
mindset.
that. Just disregard. You know, whatever you see that's not being true, does not resonate with your experience, you just disregard it. You're not a slave to other people's beliefs.
Yeah,
Or even
I was
to
though.
yours.
I
You
was. Yeah,
But no longer.
no longer.
It's the good news. You know, that's what the healing is.
And even physically, you know, during ceremonies, I've seen the physical process or progress of the experience with Huachuma, whereas in the beginning, sometimes I'd find myself resisting the medicine a little bit because I'd start feeling, and I was uncomfortable with
the feeling
feeling
itself.
emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, just
What is
haven't
this?
felt
I'm
that.
feeling.
You know?
That's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's
To feel.
uncomfortable.
I feel weird now. I feel.
Yeah, so I had to like work through that and just like work on trusting the medicine first of all, knowing that it's doing exactly what I came here for, and also trusting the feeling itself because I wanted to feel more. I wanted to reconnect with myself. So a little bit of discomfort is like very little price to pay
To the
you know,
whole life of
to be where I am now.
emotions and love and
Yeah.
everything, you know?
Because now, like, you know, that was just during the 2 weeks. It was like a bit more work. Like, I had to put in a bit more effort into my process, and now it's like completely enjoyable. Completely enjoyable. I'm feeling my heart opening, and it's not uncomfortable. It just feels amazing, you know? And everything around me feels and looks amazing. And I'm able to be super creative, right? Because I'm kind of more connected to my heart now. But it's like all these new ideas are coming, and all basically like recipes to accomplish what I've always wanted to accomplish are just coming effortlessly, detailed. You know, I'm just taking notes of how I want to change things in my career, or how I want to create better retreats for people in Canada, and it's like super easy for me to come up with stuff now.
Huachuma is he opens the valve of creativity, you know? Just like it opens it, something that was oxidated and stuck, and then just the flow of creativity comes through you like a river that we go to, you know?
Yeah. I really feel it's the connection between the heart and the mind
Yeah.
that wasn't there before. So I've always had that problem in my life where I'd have goals and plans and ideas, but no idea where to start. And that would just like stop my process completely. You
That's
know?
what we talk about with Aaron. It's like, you know, you have ideas but you can't manifest them. There's a disconnect, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the sad reality for many people, you know? You want to do things but you can't.
Yeah.
Just don't know how. So you're discouraged. Because you don't believe in yourself.
Exactly, and that just creates mental confusion, and then creativity dies right there.
That's it. It becomes a unfulfilled desire,
That creates more imbalance in the body.
Well, it creates more depression in you. Makes you depressed. It's
Frustrated.
Frustration, heaviness. It's like
unfulfilled.
Yeah, unfulfilled. That's what you see. Unfulfilled people. And that's the great cause for depression and suicide too. So you live your life without the feeling that you're doing something that fulfills you. You live your life without actually feeling that you're living it.
Yeah.
It's kind of just existing biologically. It's not actually living and doing and living out of your passion. So that's what Huachuma does, among other things. It just opens that valve so you first reconnect to yourself, understand yourself, understand your passions and
Exactly.
desires and everything that you want to do, and your all the ideas that were kind of buried come into surface, and then you understand the power of doing things.
Yeah, it's like the creativity comes up, but it's also the power to do it.
Yeah.
That was built for me in that month. It was the biggest thing that shifted things and that gave me more access to my strength was realizing that my entire life I used my strength against myself to please other people. Right? So
That's
whenever
powerful.
Yeah, because I realized I've always had a choice, which in my mind it's like the word choice is there, but the comprehension that I have a choice for everything in my life was not there. So once I realized that, I felt super empowered. I can create anything I want.
And do anything you want.
Yeah.
Your life is ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful opening. But it comes with reconnecting to your feelings, to yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise you will be still living in fear.
Exactly.
Even if you had some ideas, they would never be manifested. They would just be on the paper. Worst, best case on the paper. Maybe you wouldn't even make it that far.
Not even. No.
Just somewhere in the back of the mind,
Yeah.
like in the abstract sphere. It would be nice to do this in life. But
Would be nice, but there's always a little voice that would come in, like, would be nice, but like,
but you can't.
I don't
They have this
have
shitty
the
job
strength to do it, or I don't have the time to do it, or I don't deserve to have something amazing, to create something amazing.
Not worth it.
Yeah. So it's just self-destructing mechanisms that kill dreams, and nothing gets done.
Yeah, just misery. Plenty of misery. That's very beautiful to hear. That's very empowering for others. For both men and women.
Yeah.
It's all humans. It's just a common thread.
Yeah, that was really like the shining light that came after my efforts in the first ceremonies. That makes all the hard work super worth it, right?
And it's not that hard.
It's not hard. It's
you're just
like
enjoying yourself,
Yeah.
laying by the river and looking at the beautiful mountains. And
it can be challenging though.
Challenging, yes.
Yeah.
It can be challenging, yes.
Yeah. So you have to show up and put in a minimum amount of effort to accept the medicine and let it
you
work.
have to show courage, of course.
Yeah.
To face yourself. Sure, that's true. And it's not always easy, to experience some kind of uncomfortable truth about yourself.
It's not supposed to be easy.
It's not. No.
That would not be healing if it was
Exactly.
easy, right?
But that's where the healing is. It's
Yeah, I would have done that at home if it was easy.
It's just, do some meditation.
Yeah.
And you find,
It's a way different depth, though, that I found with Huachuma. Like, I love meditation, I love yoga, I love all these practices that facilitate healing, but it's like, in my experience, there is nothing quite like plant medicine.
Yeah, it's just deeper.
Yeah, like to go into the layers that you
just
it would
can't
take
go there.
like 30 years, like you said. It would take 30 years to get there on your own.
Another 30 years to figure this out.
Yeah, to like
if you
process
have it
it.
all. If you still have those years.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lifetime thing done in a week. You know?
Exactly.
That's the intent to it.
Yeah.
That's how you get things done. So yes, it can be comfortable. Yes, it can be challenging, but
even when it's challenging, it's
so beautiful.
never as challenging as the suffering that you have
yeah, of
in
course.
your life. So it's like it's challenging, but I'm
it's
here. I have no
infinitely
problem.
less of the pain that you had in life that brought you here.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
The challenge is kind of to revisit that for a short amount of time.
And for a whole different purpose.
Yes,
That's
for
going
sure.
to free you from
For
that.
yes, for the forever, for as long as you're alive. I mean, this is something you live in the past. You know, so it's certainly worth it. It's like you know, some people complain that the medicine is bitter.
Whatever. Oh,
And it's just
life
like,
is bitter.
Well,
Like,
your
I'd rather-
pain is bitter.
Yeah.
Your depression is bitter.
Yeah.
Your suffering is bitter. It's much more bitter than the medicine.
And it's bitter for years. The medicine
Forever.
is bitter
For a second.
2 seconds.
Yeah. You know, so it's like, okay, so you can drink Coca-Cola if you want some sweetness in your mouth, you
Yeah.
know, but bitterness in your soul,
Yeah.
and vice versa, you know.
Yeah. And you know, this is a heart medicine. And it's interesting because in Chinese medicine, the taste that's associated with the heart is bitter. So immediately it made sense to me that, you know, this medicine is bitter and it goes straight to the heart. And it works amazingly on the heart. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's really good to hear about your healing and seeing the light in your eyes, and you became very different. When you came here, you were very close up.
Yeah.
Very, very introverted, very, very conservative with your expressions.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's a different face now.
Yeah.
It's a different face, different looks, different brightness. So, and of course, different words.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
In terms of expression, like that's always been a problem or like a difficulty for me, simply because of the way I was brought up. Okay, so that was just like my expression was mind
For
throat
yourself,
instead of
exactly.
heart throat, which is entirely different, right? So that's like a major change that took place as I was like freeing up the weight on my heart. I have just like more space to
Yeah.
just freely express.
yeah, and enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, and that would be interesting to see how it goes back, how you go home, and how you actually put it on practice and actually enjoy it. You know, now you have done the work, so you know what's there waiting for you, but actually going home and living your life every day and living freely and light,
Yeah.
so much ease.
Yeah.
That would be incredible experience.
And the work is going to continue, and I'm going
Yes.
to be able to go, you know, deeper and
Deeper,
deeper into
yeah.
the healing
There are more layers.
because that, you know, crust around the heart is just not there anymore. So it's like I don't have to go through this wall. Like I can just do the healing a lot more easily at home, and I can just like keep exercising the healing that took place here, just to watch it expand and continue to go deeper with it.
Well, the iceberg that grew around your heart was melted. Yeah, so now it's the springtime. It's the inner spring
Yes.
that's moving towards the summer. You're kind of bordering with the summer now.
Yeah.
Spring, summer, internally speaking, you know. So everything's getting green, flowers are coming, falling buds.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting warmer and pleasant, and especially as a Canadian, you definitely know
Oh, for sure.
the change between
For
cold
sure.
and
Yeah.
we've been in Canada a few times.
Yeah, it's like life comes back, and then that just gives a lot more space and opportunity to continue growing, expanding, healing. You know, it's a lot more free, the energy in the summer. in Canada.
Of course, it's happy.
Yeah.
That's the only time I like to go to Canada.
Yeah.
A little window
Oh.
from June to July or something, you know. August.
End of August. Yeah.
August too good, you know.
Yeah, we have a good summer. Yeah. Yeah.
Short, but pleasant.
It's super pleasant. You know, you just have to learn to be outside more often in the summer. If you work at a desk job all summer, it goes by like this, you know?
You don't see the sun.
Yeah, so...
I've been in Nova Scotia a few times.
Never been
in the
there.
summer. Beautiful. Just all trees, all forests, just nature, you know?
Nice.
It's too flat for me. It's like a flat earth,
Okay.
you know, compared to Andes, you know?
The mountains.
But
Yeah.
it's like there is nothing to, you know,
Right.
rest my eyes on, you know, but it's still beautiful. It has a different beat.
Yeah.
Very good forest, like legitimate, real,
Yes.
kind of Russian style, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Siberia kind of forest in
Yeah.
Canada, like real forest, you
Yeah.
know, so it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I enjoyed it. And,
Nature
and
is
people
abundant.
are good too. Canadians are really nice people, you know.
Yeah.
All my experiences are really nice, very polite, very good people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pleasant to deal with, pleasant to be
Yeah.
around, you know.
Yeah, and the energy is special, similar to here, in the sense that there was a lot of Native American people, you know, living in Canada, so that energy is still there. And especially where I live, it's surrounded by mountains, forests.
Nature.
The nature really is full of that energy of ancient people. Okay, especially if you live in the middle of the woods, you feel it powerfully. Okay, there's just their energy is there, and you can even see tombs in the forest, just like piles of rocks, and that just makes it very more present in the energy. So it's similar to here, you know, with the Inca culture.
Well, you have a beautiful place there
Yeah.
to have for people, to help them to come for healing while they're there. You know, it's just needs trust, really. Just need to trust in yourself and in your projects and in your intention to help people, and it will work out.
Yeah.
You know, all the obstacles, they're really most of it in the head. You know, those that are real still can be overcome.
Yeah.
You know, so what would you like to say to people who watch this video and would like to do plant medicine, but would still worry about, have fears, and you know, what would you say to help them to overcome the initial fear to come to the plant medicine?
I'd say if I do it, anybody can do it, because originally I'm a person who is full of fear. Okay, I was raised in a fearful household, then I was afraid of living life itself, and trying anything new. Okay, so honestly, there's nothing that beats the work that we can do with plant medicine. You know, I've been introduced to a lot of spiritual practices because I grew up in a very spiritual family that always, their main goal in life was to, you know, get to a point where hopefully we don't have to reincarnate again. So they just wanted to heal everything, to recognize, you know, the little demons that we have inside of ourselves that are self-sabotaging our lives. So that's really, like, it's been a big influence in my life, and I've done a lot of healing around that, but never as much as I've done with Huachuma or other plant medicines in such a short period of time. Like I'm talking like 20 years of, you know, spiritual knowledge, practices, mindsets and stuff like that versus even 2 weeks of Huachuma. There's no comparison, in the sense that plant medicine just accelerates everything, and it's not nearly as painful and heavy as doing 20 years of spiritual work to get some little benefit. Yeah, you know what I mean? And the way that plant medicine solidifies the healing in your mind in the soul and in the body so quickly. Like, look at my partner, 17 concussions. 1 weekend of plant medicine, 85% of his brain was healed completely. After 9 years of trying everything in the medical world.
Yeah.
And same thing for me, like, my body has always caused me problems. And 1 week after Huachuma, I'm already, like, healing everywhere. You know? So it's a lot deeper than just, you know, healing some traumas. It's like literally healing the body, the mind, changing your life.
It's very true.
Yeah.
That's the power of medicine.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 times faster.
Because a lot of people understand the concept that in order to change the world, we have to change ourselves,
That's
but we don't know how to do it. Or like we think it's going to take 50 years in India of doing meditation to potentially change to a point where we're able to change our lives around us.
Well, we don't have 50 years. You know?
I mean, it's,
hey,
yeah.
good morning. It's okay.
Oh,
Good day. Have a good day.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't have this 50 years. I mean,
Exactly.
the world is changing weekly, you know.
Exactly.
So
And it
we need
kind
to
of-
change as fast
Yeah. Yeah.
and faster if we want to make a difference, you know.
Yeah.
So,
To have time to make a difference.
like hundreds of years
Outside,
ago, that would be fine. Nothing
Yeah.
actually changed then,
Yeah.
you know. Just a slow motion kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the world is very fast now. So
It's changing very fast, and you can see really the division
You just
between.
don't have 50 years to sit and meditate, you know.
Yeah.
You just have a few weeks to come here, drink medicine, and make drastic changes in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, it's very easy nowadays to fall prey to fear, and all the things that are going to stop your healing. So, people need help to get themselves out of that, and then heal, you know, past traumas, but
Yeah.
current traumas as well that are continuously
that's right.
happening on a
Yeah.
daily basis.
On top of everything you had, you got COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
playing to work with now,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So it's very hard nowadays to like heal yourself on your own without any support from nature, from plant medicine, you know, from practices that really work fast. That's the main thing, because all practices work.
Yeah, it
They
just takes
just
more
take
time.
time. That's the thing.
Mhm.
Like everything takes time, but
slow
there's medicines that can accelerate the
acting
process.
medicine versus fast.
Mm-hmm.
So before we wrap up, you know, I just want to, you mentioned something before, so speak about your family and, you know, saying that, you know, they're spiritual, but then you say, you know, it's just, the goal is never come back here, you know, never reincarnate. It's like, it just, to me, it's not spiritual, it's actually the opposite of spirituality, and I hope you can see it that way.
Yeah.
And you know, this attitude is coming from a place of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So when your life is misery, of course you don't want that and you don't want to come back.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Life is beautiful
Yeah.
and you can make it what you want, you know, so it's not an objective idea.
No.
It's
for
a
sure.
very subjective, personal thing, you know, and that's why I'm not a fan of Buddhism, because it resonates with that's also how they see it, you know. It's like you meditate yourself into non-existence, which means nirvana, it's
Mhm.
complete destruction, extinction of ego.
Yeah.
And I also see it as it's a fear-based mentality. Good morning. You know, it's just a fear-based, you know, it's like you're afraid of life and you just want to run away from it and you just want to disappear forever.
Yeah. Don't want to
Because
come
it's
back.
just so opposite of my experience of life that
Yeah.
I can't really relate to this,
Mhm.
you know. That's why I always like Zen Buddhism and, you know, in comparison, because in Zen it's all about living the moment, it's all about living the now, you
Yeah.
know. It's not escaping, it's embracing life. So it's very shamanic,
Yeah.
you know, there's a great resonance between what they think and what plant medicine
teaches you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that without forgetting that was important point, that
Of course.
that wasn't the truth.
Of course,
You
there's been a lot of generational suffering in my family.
Yeah.
Some grew up in a war. Most
Yeah,
of them
of
grew
course,
up
it's
poor.
understandable.
Lots of abuse in all the ranks of families. So it just creates like a bit of
Yeah, it's
a preconception that life is just meant to be suffering,
and
then when you die,
never
the
come back.
suffering goes away. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course.
So obviously, like it's a tinted perspective that comes with a lot of ignorance. Trying to get them into plant medicine to kind of shift some paradigms there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just decided that generational mindset is just stopping with me. There's no way that I'm going to pass this on to my kids.
Exactly, it dies in you. Yeah, me too. Born in Soviet Russia, communism.
Yeah.
Everything you can imagine. Oppression, suppression.
Yeah.
Socialism and everything that is coming now your way. We live that
Yeah.
already. So poverty and all this thing. But even that, I always love life. I always love life. I could see through this. And I was just hoping that one day I can just break through all these limitations and find beauty and love and grasp it. Not just knowing that it's there, not just feeling it's there, but actually living it.
Yeah, and see, like it's a distant concept in the way that I was raised. It's like you get love maybe in like 50, 60 years. You know what I mean? So it's like in the meantime, it's not very appealing to live life, right? From that perspective.
Yes, if it's all suffering, of course.
It's like you have to earn the love and you have to earn the peace, but like it takes a lot of crap and suffering before you get to that point. So yeah, I'm just like, I feel like in this month, and also since I met my partner, it just like completely transformed my perspective of that, and I started to see the very real chance that I have to live the most beautiful life. I can have a dream life.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, as Obama said.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful way to end the conversation, and just wish you all the best in your journey. You have a good project going there, and your heart is in the right place, and ours too.
Yeah.
And you can do good to many people. And meanwhile, you help others, you help yourself. That's how it works. You're healing yourself by healing others, and you're healing others by healing yourself.
Yeah.
It's like that. Okay? Okay, Maeva, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sergey.
And we'll see you around.
Yes, you will. I'll be back for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey.
All right.